Oh, welcome to the Sharpe Show. So happy to have you with me this evening. We're past 7 p.m. on the East Coast. And yes, it is Friday and it is an AMA. Why no shows this weekend? I'm going to be snowing, I think, and stuff. Maybe I'll do a show anyway because it's snow. Maybe I'll figure it out. Drive my team nuts, just make up a show, and they'll be mad at me. But that's fine. I will do what needs to be done. It's supposed to be a heavy snow coming up this weekend, maybe Sunday or Monday. We shall see. I probably should go shopping and get some food in my house. But, you know, we do what we must. In any case, why am I here today at the AMA? Because, as always, every single week, I want to give you the opportunity to just ask any questions you want, get to know me to the best of your ability, and understand that when you see me someplace out there, you will get the same answers, the same back and forth as you always get from me. Whether you like me, hate me, or whatever you might be in the middle, you will keep getting me. That's for sure. Speaking of getting me, there is some way that you can get me directly. I know you can come see me in person in New York if you want to, not this weekend, but next weekend, the snowiest day again, of course, because that's what it is. Come see me if you want to. I'm coming up and down the Hudson Valley. You can see me on Saturday, January 21st at 2 p.m. at Mahoney's Irish Pub and Steakhouse in Poughkeepsie, New York. And that same day at 6:30 p.m., you can see me at the Alexis Diner on Greenbush Road in Troy, New York. You can see this in all my stuff. You can check my Facebook page. It'll be posted all over the place. Please come by, see me. It is free to come to these places. Here's what I would ask you to, if you would. As always, I support local businesses. If you show up, please purchase something there. If you are in a position to where you can, buy a meal or two, please do so if that's where you are financially. If not, no worries. Buy a cup of coffee, a beer, whatever you would. But please support the local business. Come chat with me. We'll have some, we'll eat, we'll talk, we'll hopefully laugh. We might cry, but we'll do something together. Please join me if you can. I do appreciate it, guys. The support is incredibly important if you could do so. And of course, for this show, please click, you know what? Lima, India, Kilo Echo. Let other people know this is happening. I'm trying my best to promote this. And of course, then please share or repost this someplace, whether that's on X, whether that's in a Facebook page, if the case may be. If you have not subscribed or followed or liked this page, why do you hate America? I don't know why you do. It is bad. You shouldn't hate America. Do this and show the world that you do not hate America. It does matter. Please do that if you can. All right. It is an AMA. But as always, I start the AMA off with something that I'm going to chat about just to keep it going. And of course, then I will go wherever we want. But I do want to start off with something. And this, I started off with something because it's kind of what I'm doing. I'm obviously running for governor. It's a separate piece, but it is, but I'm running as an independent and perhaps as a Republican too, which makes me think about one person who's running as a Republican, but probably will be independent, who's also running. And someone asked him for president, and the person was Jimmy Dore who asked him. And the person who was asked was the one and only Thomas Massie. So I wanted to bring this up and let you guys see this. And I wanted to chat about this. What do you guys think about Thomas Massie and what he says and how hard it is to do the thing?
They do. And so I just want someone like you to run, so I don't have. And so why don't you run for president?
Here we go.
Oh,
Now, I get that question from libertarians all the time. Why don't you? And the answer I give is similar to what he does. I want to run when I see impact. People think I run often. I don't. I've only run 3 times, all 3 times for governor of New York. That's what I run for because I know I can make impact with that. Why I did it in 2018. I failed in 2022, but I can do it again in 2026. I can make impact. That's why I run. Most people run for a vanity project. I'm the coolest advocate or whatever they think they are, activist, and I'm going to run. I don't do that. I have to have some impact. He thinks in a similar way, but even more. He laughs at him.
I think it would be impossible to win.
Why?
See, he's worried about winning only. Now, I care about winning too. Of course I do. But if I were ever to run for president, if I ran as libertarian, which I probably would, I would be looking at getting 5%, which would be a victory for libertarians. He's a Republican. He doesn't see that same victory. You know, him getting 5% is a loss. A libertarian getting 5% is a massive win. For those who don't know, that would then qualify the Libertarian Party in the next cycle for matching funds, which would change everything. So a win for a libertarian is 5%. Would I run for president as libertarian? If I saw a pathway to 5% or more, I would. If I thought pathway to victory, of course I would do it. He's looking for a pathway to victory.
When Rand Paul ran for Senate, it was in Kentucky, and I helped on his campaign. That was in 2010. And I was one of the volunteers, and I did the phones, and I put up signs. And
I've done that game too.
I kind of understood how you would run for Senate. And 2 years later, I ran for the House and won.
Well, it's funny. In 2014, I was actually assisting the governor candidate here in New York State, a guy named Michael McDermott. If you're a New Yorker or libertarian, you might remember him. If not, you probably don't. He was very local. He was out of Long Island. And I was his driver. I supported him financially. So yeah, I did all the things. I agree. And then 4 years later, I was running. Same story in that regard. A little bit different.
Using what I learned from that and the people who I made connections with working on Rand's campaign. But then in 2016, I went to Iowa with Rand to, and gave speeches for him or introduced him or went around in the presidential race. Oh man. And we took a pounding. Like we thought that he could do well based on what his father had done.
Yeah.
And when I came away from Iowa with this realization, I always thought until I went to Iowa with Rand, I thought that when people voted for Ron Paul, when they voted for Rand Paul, and when they voted for...
Yeah, this piece he's talking about, he thought that people voted for him because he was libertarian. That wasn't the reason. And I recognize that too. A lot of people would vote for me, not because I'm libertarian. I mean, that's the best reason to, but they'd vote for me because I'm not the other two. I did it too. When I was younger and I was voting for president, I voted for Perot and I voted for Nader. Not because I loved their policies, not because I thought they were amazing, because I knew the other ones were he wasn't them. And that was good enough for me. That was good enough for me. So yeah, and I think that's the point he's trying to make.
In Republican primaries, that they were voting for a constitutionalist or libertarian-leaning Republican. But then Donald Trump went to Iowa and got all the people that would have voted for Thomas Massie, Ron Paul, or Rand Paul. And that's when I had to recalibrate my thinking.
Yes.
And I realized when they voted for me and Rand and Ron, they were voting for the craziest son of a bitch in the race. They weren't voting for the libertarian.
And that's the piece what I think is important to understand. That was actually happening. They were voting for the craziest guy they could possibly vote for. They were doing exactly that. Or just a different guy. And there's some value to that. I'm not mad at that. I'm just saying that's what it actually was.
Took all those votes because Donald Trump got the votes. I just don't see a path to winning.
Okay. Well, if you run out, I'll help you. I'll do whatever I can. How about that? But it's not much, but I'll do whatever I can.
You've got a bigger microphone. Why don't you run and then I'll back you?
Ha! I already I spoke at the UN Security Council and
everyone, when they ask, laugh. And the funny part is people who don't know this world, they don't get it. People who don't know this world go, you just ran for president. They act like that. Running for office is punishment. I know it seems cool. Well, of course, if you run as an independent and it's a vanity project, then it isn't, because all you do is you do paperwork. You go back to work the next day and go, I'm running for whatever. And you don't do anything. So I guess that's good. But if you're actually trying to win, make impact, learn things, be able to speak effectively, it is punishment.
Anniversary of the Nord Stream pipeline bombing. And on the plane home, I realized that they had hacked into my iCloud account, my computer, and my phone with Pegasus. So listen, in my phone, there's 3 nation states plus our own, is what I say. You want to talk about battery life? I have to carry 3 batteries in my vest, in my pockets all day long, just to keep these nation states, enough electrons to hear and see what I'm doing. So that's why I see what they do to people,
Yes.
and But I mean, just look what Big Pharma was able to do to RFK Jr. just because he wanted to have safety testing for vaccines, and it's amazing what they can do. I mean, it's with what I say about RFK, he's got lots of flaws, but that's not why the establishment hates him. They hate him for the things that he's right about.
This is true. That's absolutely true. And I know, for those you remember, in 2024, I was his surrogate in the media, and I had to take the slings and arrows they were throwing at him. They threw them at me instead. I get it completely. You have to do that. That's how it works. I get it.
Let me describe some of the other things they do that you don't see. 3 of my consultants have quit, like on my campaign, and all 3 for the same reason.
Now, this is something people don't recognize. People get mad at me sometimes too. Larry, why don't you just hire better people? Just get the pros, get them. He's going to explain why. You don't just get the pros. He'll explain. 3 of the people who know him and trust him quit. He's going to tell you why.
I don't blame him. I'm not even mad at him. If I were in their shoes, I'd probably quit too.
I think the same
They were
way.
told that your other 3 clients will fire you, or sorry, your other 30 clients will fire you if you keep working for Massie.
Yes, people don't realize is if you're a political consultant for the Republicans, Democrats, that's all you can work for. That's it. You become blacklisted. You can't work for anybody else. I'm not making this up. You can't work for anybody else. So you have to actually find a group of people who go, I don't care, or independent. There are very few independent consultants who are good. I'm one of them, clearly. But there are very few of them. Really good ones throughout this entire country, maybe 6. I'm not even joking. There are tons of consultants, tens of thousands of them, but they work for Democrats or Republicans. Now, if they're bad at that or don't care, they will sometimes work for independents. That does happen sometimes. Here or there, you'll find it, right? It does happen, but it's rare. But once in a while, they will. But many of them aren't that good, or the reverse, they're super good. And they don't, they're so good that people won't care, or they're so bad, or they've made mistakes or made enemies, then they'll come. Now, worst part about it is they will sometimes sabotage. We saw that RFK Jr. So someone who's a Republican Democrat will work for an independent, sabotage them as a way of getting back into the good graces of their former party. That sounds horrible and true. And true, which is one of the reasons why so many people only hire loyal people they know. And the average person gets mad and says, well, why are you hiring for loyalty? You should hire because they're the right person for the job. Because they're probably infiltrators trying to destroy my campaign to get back in the good graces of the Democrats, Republicans that came from. I wish I was making that up. I've discussed this before 1,000 times, and this is what he's saying. This is what he's saying. And it's absolutely true.
And so they make it hard to basically to hire the people. Then and for everyone that quit, okay, you go out and you interview 10 people to replace them, and they all tell you the same thing: I can't work for you, or I'll lose all my other clients. So it's like it's a mafia in the consultant world. By the way,
it's a mafia in politics, period. I say all the time, this is the mob. Yes.
I really love the consultants I got now because they're the ones who said, screw you. I'm going to work for Massie because I believe in what he's doing and I'm good enough at my job. I'll go find some other clients if your clowns fire me.
It's hard to find that, but yes.
So good for them. The other thing they do is, I told you I may have told you this. Maybe I didn't. I've got 50.
By the way, if Tom Massie, if you or any of your team happen to be watching this, if you decide to run for president, let me know. There's one consultant who's happy to assist and good at what he does.
15,000 donors across the United States. My average donation is $80.
Nice.
Is that because I don't want millionaires to give to a super PAC and to?
Okay, here's the next thing. I'm saying this because people give this to me too, right? He says, do I not want millionaires to give the super PACs? Of course he does. So do I. People tell me, Larry, you should just get a PAC and have people give to it. Where? How? Brilliant man? Brilliant woman? How? Just magic? It's not how that works. Even if I get a PAC, doesn't mean people start giving to it. And he's going to explain why and how right now. It's not just me saying it. This is how it works.
Help me? No, hell no. I'll take all the help I can get. The problem is,
let's be very clear. If there are any millionaires out there who want to start a PAC to support me, I will happily accept your cash as long as it is legal. Sorry. As long as it's legal. I would absolutely accept all your help as long as it's legal. Yes.
If you've reached some degree of success where you have a $1 million disposable income, you probably can't afford to tick off this administration.
Yep.
Or they will come at your business. And I'm not talking.
And I told you that was so bad from yesterday and the day before shows. Yes, so bad. That's a problem. And again, now it's Trump. Great. What happens when it's AOC? Or when it's Marco Rubio? Or whomever is the guy or gal in charge?
Talking about IRS audits. Like it's bigger than that. You won't get the permits you need to do the business. You're foreign when you try to do business overseas, that'll get interfered with. So they can't intimidate my $80 donors, right? There's too many of them. But there are, and really over the MAGA split and on foreign policy, there are people of great means. I'm talking about extraordinary means who could put money in my race and post up against the Israel First billionaires, but they're staying on the sidelines. Because their business will get ruined.
Yes, and here's one of the hardest parts. They love him and they want to assist, but they can't because they will be ended. By the amount of people I hear across New York State, this is specifically Republicans. Democrats won't even talk to me. They don't care. Republicans across the state were like, I can't talk to you, Larry. I can't. Yes, that same intimidation he's talking about, I get here at a local level, right? He's obviously running federal. I hear at a local level from some Democrats, not as many. Democrats are more open to talk to me because they don't care. They know they're going to win. They don't care. But Republicans are like, no, I can't talk to you. No, I can't talk to you. They're scared. They're intimidated. That's absolutely true. This is the mob.
They won't be invited to the parties.
Yep.
You know, the A-list parties and all that goes away. So that's another part of what happens behind the scenes. There are things that you can't see, and I could see that happening in the presidential race as well.
100%.
Oh yeah, 100%. I just go living through the hashtag Me Too era, having a fake one launched at me.
Yep.
I mean, they would just pull people out. I mean, look what they do. I just see what they do.
They just lie. Let me be very clear. In 2022, nobody cared about me. My campaign was garbage. In 2018, when I actually started making some impact, all of a sudden, newspapers, which aren't newspapers, would just show up out of nowhere and start coming out with stories about me that were just blatantly made up. And they would just come out. Yes, absolutely true.
And so I just want someone like you to run so I don't have to go through that. That's what
that. And that part is funny. There are many people who are most of my larger donors who almost say those words. They're like, Larry, I don't know why you do it. Why would you put up with it? Why do you do this? But you're going to do it? Fine. Here's money because I'm not doing it. So you take the money, you go because I'm not going to do it. Take my money instead. I'm going to go live my life and not be punished. Take some cash. You go do it. That's actually a very common thing he's talking about.
And listen, if there was dirt on me, they would have found it by now. Like they would have, I can guarantee you. You know, I'm a widower, but I spent 35 years with the same woman and married my high school sweetheart. I don't even have any interesting ex-girlfriends from, high school. I married the only one that would go out with me.
There we go.
So, it's a good thing I've got kind of a boring social life.
That's true.
And was a nerd because there's not a whole lot that they could ever find on me.
Well, I was, a comedian, so I've spent since 1989. I spent most of the time in nightclubs, and a lot of those nights were drunk and other things, and so I don't even know what I did. And so
you should say it was all in jest.
Yeah,
you're gonna have to.
But you know what? I'm sure we disagree on lots of things, also you and I. But I don't ever have to worry about your opinion being bought. And I think we could have a reasonable discussion. And so I realized when Trump got elected in 2016, my mother-in-law voted for Trump because of abortion, and they want me to hate my neighbor because of that. They want, and I realized, well, I love my mother-in-law. She's a wonderful woman. I'm not going to hate people who voted different than me. And I realized the game real quick was that, oh, this is how they do it. They try to get one half the country looking at the other half of the country as their enemy instead of their neighbor.
True.
And my neighbor's not my enemy. And my neighbor is the person who's suffering under the same oligarchy Zionist influence that I'm suffering under. And they want us to hate each other. So because if we realized we had more in common that divides us, we would come together because we have a common enemy. And that common enemy is the oligarchy. And they can't have that. So that's why you see all this stuff is happening. And, you know, there's more we live in one giant psyop is what I feel like. And
that's a great point. Imagine if they had convinced me and Ro Khanna that we hate each other so much that we couldn't work on the Epstein Files Transparency Act together.
Now, this piece, I wanted to wait until this piece because this is critical. The piece that is absolutely critical. Why do we want smaller third parties to even exist in this country? Why bother? Why bother? What they mean, the why bother is because that's how you get single issue coalitions to get something done. That's how you do it. You want people to be able to get together under a smaller party to get something done. Epstein in this case, EpiPen files in this case, but whatever the case may be, get something done. I want this thing done. If it's just this, we just hate each other, nothing gets done. That's the wrong answer.
Together.
Right.
But once we did, we had the biggest press conferences Washington, D.C. has seen in decades. And we did 2 of them with the survivors of the Epstein sex trafficking ring.
Oh, I'm getting demonetized now.
Some of those survivors are Republicans, some are Democrat. They didn't care what our political affiliation was. And then when we got it to the floor, it was 427-1 in the House was the vote and 100-0 in the Senate.
That's a single issue coalition that cannot happen without independent minded people. My point exactly.
Convinced people this was a partisan exercise by the time it got to the floor, which is why I tried to keep it from being about Bill Clinton or about Donald Trump. That was part of the PSYOP.
It's either about Donald Trump or Bill Clinton, but let's just end that. And he did.
Make it about Bill Clinton. And then we can keep the Democrats afraid of the files. Let's make it about Donald Trump, and then we can keep the Republicans afraid of it.
Yep.
And then we can make the vote, 1 to 427 instead of 427-1 by getting both sides to hate each other or to hate this bill for political reasons.
Yes.
So you've got a great point. Maybe you don't need to vote. Maybe we don't need new people there. Maybe we just need to convince them they don't all hate each other as much as they're being told. And part of the reason they act at least like they hate each other is their voters tell them to hate each other.
Yes.
Like, I won't vote for you again if I see you,
This is the point he's bringing up very much. Well, and I see this all the time. I get this constantly. It's basically like a litmus test, right? And the worst part is it's all about virtue signaling. He's bringing up virtue signaling. We have been trained. Nothing ever gets fixed. Nothing ever happens. So what do I care about? Virtue signaling. Will you say the words? This is woke left versus woke right, or whatever the case may be. Say the right words, right? And then the one now is, will you abolish ICE? And it used to be, if you remember right, it was BLM, right? It's always something, right? Or America first, or whatever. Or what do you think about Trump, right? It's always something that they'll have. And that's the litmus test. Okay, what do you say to that? Did you say the right thing or the wrong thing? Now I can't talk to you anymore. Now you're no good anymore. Now you're bad. This is terrible. This is a terrible way of doing things. It just makes things worse. And then this is how people vote against their best interest. This is how people just think they're on the right team. I'm on the red or blue team. That's exactly correct.
Shaking hands with AOC. That's the kiss of death.
If you shake hands with AOC, now they won't vote for you. And that's a lot of people, right? If you go see Trump, well, now I can't talk to you. That's a lot of people. And that's dumb. But people do it. It's true. Absolutely true. All the time. Happens all the time. Well, you shook hands with whatever, Trump. So now you're evil. Stop. You shook hands with AOC. Now, stop. Maybe you had to work together to get something. Mom Donnie went to go see Trump. Why? Because Mom Donnie needs stuff. Now he's a sellout. No, he's not. He's the same guy he always was. If you liked him, you should still like him. If you hate him, you should still hate him. Him going to see Trump should change nothing on how you think about Mamdani. That's a not even anything that makes any difference at all.
In your primary or whatever. So I think that's a hopeful, tone to say, once you realize you don't hate the other person all the time, okay, you can hate them 80% of the time, but at least acknowledge there's 20% of the time you don't have to hate them. And then you could get something done together.
Bingo, you get something done.
As Frederick Douglass said, I'll join with anyone to do right and no one to do wrong.
Look at that. That's right. Frederick Douglass, by the way, Rochester, New York. Yes. Perfect. I'll end it there. I love the idea of Thomas Massie running. I really do. I hope that he will run. But I don't think he will, at least not right now. But could he? Yes, he could if there was an actual chance or pathway to either victory or serious impact. That's the issue. Victory or serious impact. At the moment, he sees neither. And I understand that. I do. I get it. I see it. So, all right, let me grab, if I could, some comments from you guys. Let's see here. Ooh, I'll start with, all right, it's Bicote, like Quixote, Bicote. Is that right? Thomas Massie would be better than whatever the DNC vomits up. True. Absolutely. D says, I stand grandly with Thomas Massie. Thank you. I love that. Very good. Me too, by the way. Me too. Missy says, I'd vote for Massie for anything. He's got my 100% devotion. Wow, you got some fans here. I hope you happen to be watching, or someone on your team happened to be. Yes. Thomas Massie is the modern Cincinnatus. Let's fix Washington so he can go back to his farm. I like that. Mike, would I vote for a Massie presidency? Never. Okay. Should he be able to run on equal ground as other candidates? Yes. I agree. Yes. I think he'd be a great president. Here's what I would say. I wouldn't say never, Mike. And here is my pushback. If he wins the Republican primary, I don't see it happening, neither does he. But I'm saying, you said never. So if that were to happen, if he were to win the Republican primary, again, I don't see it happening. You do either, neither does he. But if it were to happen, and he was running against someone like, I don't know, AOC, I think you'd vote Massie. So I think there is a scenario where that would happen. There we go. Tom says, Massie would make a great president. Unfortunately, the America that would elect him no longer exists. Also probably true. Yes. All right. Oh, there. Okay. LM No says, Massie for president. Thank you. I appreciate that. Andrea, love Thomas. Lots of love. Wow. Okay. Let me go off topic. D Nice Gamer says, hey, Larry, what do you think about the military's new SIG rifle, good or bad? I am torn on the new rifle, to be forward with you. I'm torn because I think it's probably a better rifle than the M4, which is basically the upgrade of the M16. However, it's not 5.56, right? I think there's a model that's 7.62 and a model that's like 6.8 or something like that, if I'm not mistaken. If you can correct me if I'm wrong. But it's not 5.56. And what does that mean? For those of you who don't know, that means it's a different caliber of round, right? The caliber is different, which means, are we making the entire military, taking all of it? Marines, sailors, so everyone's going to the new SIG? Is that what's happening? I'm unsure. Right now, I think only like a couple units have it. Are we shifting, or now we're going to have two separate rounds, right? So that's my worry about that. Are we staying in NATO? Is NATO going to go to 7.62? Right now, NATO's on 5.56. All the former Warsaw Pacts all on 7.62. Is the world going to 7.62? I mean, that's fine too. Also, if that's the rule. So that's a concern I have. Also, different magazines. Now, the advantage, I think, of it, if I'm pretty sure it can become like a squad automatic weapon, if I'm not mistaken. It has like some kind of barrel magazine, if I'm not mistaken. It has like 200 rounds or something like that. I don't remember. I think something like that, right? Like 200 rounds. So it can become basically an automatic weapon. That's not a bad idea, because now I can easily create, a support machine gun in any fire team. And again, as we see us moving down the road, the fire team is becoming the real unit. The squad is no longer becoming the unit anymore. It used to be the basic unit was a squad. The basic unit is becoming a fire team because of drones, things like that. My other piece I'm concerned about it is there is some of the rounds are anti-armor, which is wonderful. Not mad at anti-armor rounds, but in modern day armor, I mean, you can tear up trucks, I guess. right? I mean, maybe. I'd be more concerned about, do you have something that could take out drones, right? Is there some form of, I don't know. I'd rather have some kind of shotgun, if that makes any sense, right? I don't know. If we look at modern warfare is one of two things: very close up, and I mean, they're firing. I don't know if you paid attention to most of the recent wars. I mean, we're firing within 50 meters. I'm not joking. Like 50 meters, 25 meters. Some of them are 10 meters. Like we're using our rifles to fire 10 meters. We're using our rifles to fire 50 meters. So do I really require that much firepower in modern day war? Anything, or it's way far. Like it's sniper rifles, drone strikes, artillery strikes. So it's like close up 50 meters or like, 1,000 meters. So I'm not sure if that works in modern day warfare anymore. That's why I'm torn. Is it a good weapon? I think yes. I think we've seen that it is a good weapon, but it makes a lot of changes. It goes to, I think, 7.62, if not mistaken. So it changes all of that. I like that it allows for a fire team to become a base unit, not a squad, right? So it's fire team tactics versus squad. I enjoy that piece. You don't require an A gunner, which is also good when you create your automatic weapons team. Not just one guy who's your A gunner, which is your automatic weapons gunner, which I don't require an A gunner now. So that's not bad either. So there's some advantages to it. It has a suppressor, which is better for night fighting and sound. So that's not bad also. So it comes as, if I remember right, it does come with a suppressor. Like that's the standard issue. I'm pretty sure. You probably know more than I do. I'm just trying to remember the weapon itself, the weapon system. So if the goal is to make a full shift within NATO, if the goal is to, revamp the entire U.S. military and go to 7.62, I'm in. I think it's a better weapon than M16 and M4 in general. The question is it going to be good for the new warfare is house to house, trench to trench. I feel like if we're going to put any money into something, I'd put it into a shotgun. For those who don't know, when you're fighting in that close quarters, the pistol, the shotgun, the grenade, right? These are the weapons of choice, right? When I'm fighting room to room trench warfare, when I'm dealing with drones, shotgun is the answer. Like shotgun is a far better weapon. If I could get an automatic shotgun, I can now take drones out. I mean, that's where my head would be. I went long on that, but you asked a question. This is a AMA. So yeah, I want to go through everything. Vivek says, should ICE be abolished? What do you think has the greatest chance in 2028? Cruz, Massie, Paul, Rubio, or Vance? All right, I'll go back to front because it's two separate questions. I think Cruz, Massie, and Paul sadly have almost zero chance. I don't think the Republican Party would let them win a primary. I don't think any of them can win a primary. I don't see it. I can't imagine either of them winning a primary. I wish it was Massie. That's like what I want, but I don't see that at all. I think it has to be Rubio or Vance. And I think the decision factor is going to be, what does Trump say and how well is he doing? If Trump's gambles pay off this year and the Republicans do very well in 2026, whoever Trump says, I think is going to win the Republican primary. If Trump's gambles fail this year and he fails horribly in 2026, I think the reverse is true. So I would say Rubio or Vance. My gut says that the establishment will get behind Rubio faster and therefore make more cash faster. So I think Rubio has a higher chance. However, Rubio is not as good as a politician. Vance is a better politician. If money gets behind Vance, if all things are equal, Vance will beat Rubio. Rubio is not that good of a politician compared to Vance. Rubio is not that good off the cuff. He's not savvy and funny enough. Rubio is an operator. Vance is much more of a person in front. So if all things are equal, Vance, I think Rubio will raise more money. Unless, again, exception is if Trump is doing very well. Should ICE be abolished? In its current form, yes. But does law enforcement need ICE assistance or some federal assistance? Probably yes also. So I don't like ICE being enforcers at all. I wish ICE would be more like an FBI, if that makes any sense. I'm not like the FBI, but more like it, to where there are resources that local law enforcement could assist. I think that makes it far better, right? Because now local law enforcement can decide. I know people get mad at me. But what about sanctuary cities and blah, 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 blah? We have sanctuary cities not going away. ICE isn't going to stop that. I know this is the same virtual signaling shit I get all the time. My hardcore writers go, they got to get them all out. You're never gonna. That's a fucking fantasy. Wake up to reality. It's never going to happen. Obama threw more people out than Trump did. Never going to happen. That was never. He either didn't know or he lied to you. One or the other. I think he didn't know, but maybe he just lied to you. It's never going to happen. And all you righties who are yelling, we got to get rid of them all. They're all illegals. They're not leaving. And not leaving for a very important reason. Big business wants them. And Trump and Rubio and Vance and all of them, they care far more about what big business cares about than what you care about. I wish that wasn't true. I wish what I was telling you was a lie. It's not. You care versus them. They don't give a shit what you care about. They care what big business cares about. You just heard Massie talk about it, the millions of dollars they put into it. They want them here. That's why they're here. They're not going away. It's a fantasy to even think so. They're doing this so we can fight each other again. That's why the Democratic mayors aren't working with ICE. It's why ICE goes there on purpose. They make this happen, and then we fight each other. Meanwhile, what happens? Again, Obama got rid of more people than Trump did. So this is a fantasy. I know the left thinks we're going to abolish ICE. Never. We'll have something because we got to keep fighting, right? It's never going to happen. All right, goes, we'll get rid of them all. Never going to happen. It's a fantasy. Wake up. Never going to happen. So what should happen? This, I think, is your question. What should happen is the federal government should be able to give resources to local police forces so they can get rid of the bad guys. That's what should happen. That's what happened in Memphis. That's the right answer. And local government shouldn't be like, I hate the federal government. They should be like, hey, I need it or I don't. If I need it, awesome. Take it and then get rid of the bad guys. Federal government will often have resources local people don't have, particularly in smaller cities or cities that have issues with their budget. Take the help. Why wouldn't you take the help? Even if you do need ICE bodies, take the bodies if you don't have them, or take the intelligence, or take the equipment, take the knowledge, take whatever you need. Take the management, take the overwatch, whatever's required for you to go do what you got to do. So when it comes to immigration, we need local people to take charge of this and get rid of bad guys through local people. We're never getting rid of all 20 million. It's a fantasy. I don't know why you people keep believing it. He keeps saying it's never going to happen. Holman keeps saying it's never going to happen. Obama couldn't do it. Clinton couldn't do it. Reagan wasn't going to do it. Bush couldn't do it. Biden didn't even try. Didn't even try. Trump can't do it. It is impossible. Why? They want them here. That wasn't a mistake. I know some of you don't like me saying it. I don't care. But be mad at me, I guess. I'm telling you the truth. They want them here. That's why they're here. They don't mind Trump shutting the border. Now, why? Because 20 million already came in. They got who they wanted. Now, do those guys, do the elites want the bad guys? They don't. They just don't care enough. And that's apathetic. They're not happy that bad guys come across the border because they do. And the left will tell you, no bad guys. They're all good people. So that's not true. There's bad guys. Of course there are. Clearly there are. Right? But do the elites care about the bad guys? They don't. They want their workers. And if bad guys come, what are you going to do? They're not in my neighborhood. And do the elite politicians want them? Yes. Let me say it again. Do the elite politicians want the bad guys? Yes. Don't fool yourself. Yes. Why? So they can have shit happen in Minnesota and they can raise money off of it. So now they can go, I can't believe Thomas Massie wants to abolish ICE. Give me money. For $10 more, I'll be able to stop Thomas Massie. For $20, I'll be able to stop Thomas Massie. You give your $100 and we can stop the Thomas Massie. No, you can't, but it doesn't matter. And the left do the same thing. Oh, Trump, we have to abolish ICE and send Trump a message or whatever. Send me $10 and I'll help abolish ICE. Send me $20, I'll help abolish ICE. No, you won't. I'm sorry. You got me going, Vivek, with this. It's just, I hear this shit all the time. And it's just more talk than me. And I'm running for governor. I'm not going to stop it. But anyway, it's just true. Drives me crazy. And they're still yelling. Both sides still yelling and falling for it completely. Falling for it completely. So, Mike Voss in the house. Separately, America needs to see Don Lemon held accountable and arrested. Damn. What he did was morally wrong, unconstitutional, and a crime. And in no way was protected by journalism. You got that. I didn't watch it closely to be very forward with you. I'm not saying you're wrong because I don't know it. So it's tough for me to say if I think you're wrong or not. I'm just saying I think most people don't give a shit. If Don Lemon goes to jail, okay. If Don Lemon doesn't go to jail, okay. So I still can't pay my rent. My kid can't read. My car insurance is $1,000. I don't care. I know it sounds flippant. I know I sound flippant, but this to me is whatever. Don Lemon's a has-been. If he wants to get his, if anything, we're probably giving him more. He's probably getting more clicks now from this. He goes to jail, he'll be a hero. You put him in jail, he's a left-leaning hero. He'll come out from whatever. What are they going to give him, a year, maybe, if that? Probably not even that. They'll give him some kind of sentence. He's a journalist. They're not going to put him in jail. They might sentence him, and he might be a felon. It's possible if this is a bad thing. I don't know it well enough to know if it is, but for the sake of argument, it's a felony. He gets a felony. He does time served. He gets out. He's a left-leaning hero. He fought Trump, which is what he wanted. So there's going to be no accountability if this happens. Maybe he'll be a felon, maybe. Then he'll come out and he'll get a TV show or a talk show or whatever. He'll replace Jimmy Kimmel or whatever. He'll just be. This kind of attention for a guy like him is a good thing. The best thing you do with a guy like Don Lemon is just ignore him. That's the best thing. That is absolutely the best thing. Giving him this stuff, no one's helped by it. And in fact, he's helped by it. He's a has-been. This will put him back on the map. In fact, why are we even talking about him? Let's put him back on the map. Thank you for the $4, my friend. $4.99. Do the Amish have the right to be on the road? Or are the Amish a road hazard and an accident waiting to happen? They 100% have right to be on the road. 100%. Absolutely, yes. No doubt. Yes, right to be on the road. Of course they do. We all do. They're supposed to be public roads. That's what they tell us. Supposedly we own the roads. What about my roads? That's what I hear. Well, aren't the Amish citizens of America? I know they are in my state. They are. Of course they do. Now, I get you don't like it. So what? I don't like when big trucks are on the road. So should there be no big trucks on the road? Of course there should be. Now, do you want to have certain rules? And they do have some, right? In certain areas, they have certain rules. Like you have to have, even though the Amish aren't supposed to use electricity, you have to have like a reflector on the back, right? I don't mind the rules of that because now, I mean, literally, it's for those who don't know the Amish well, they literally travel in black carriages on the side of the road. Well, at night, you're about to get killed. So they have to put like reflectors on their carriages. Totally fine. I don't have a problem giving them some safety regulations to protect other drivers. It's fine. But of course, you're right. At 100% you do. Yes, and yes. Thank you for that. Australia, thank you for the $5. In Pennsylvania, John Thomas got over 89,000 votes. The LP has about 41,000 in Pennsylvania. Do we know where the 40,000 votes came from? My assumption would be what Massie said, which is people who are just pissed off. What you're finding, I'll give you a little thing. You brought a good thing up, Australia. What you're finding right now is many Americans are moving towards independence. Go back a couple years ago, and you found a lot of Americans were walking away from the Republican Party, becoming Democrats. Then it swapped. People going away from Democrats and become Republicans. Then you found people going away from Democrats and becoming independent. Now I find people leaving the Republican Party and becoming independent. So now more people aren't making the swap over from Republican to Democrat to Republican. Many more people are just going, you know what, neither. I think it's 45% or whatever it is, a big chunk. It's a plurality of Americans now moving towards independent. And they just want to vote for rabble-rouser. Why, you think the people who voted for Mamdani were all DSA members? Of course not. The DSA is not 51% or whatever it was. I think 51, 52%, whatever we got. The DSA is not 51% of the New York City electorate. That's not who it is, right? There may be 10% of the New York City electorate. The other 41% were people who are like, I hate these guys. Okay, somebody's giving me free buses. I'll take me some free buses because I'm getting nothing from the other two. So I would bet that would be people who just said, I just don't want what's there. I'll take this guy. That's fine. I'll take it. And this desperation is growing. You brought it up, so let me pop this up real fast. This is something specifically from that. This was from Rising a couple of days ago, talking about literally that. It's almost like you knew I had this thing teed up. I told him. I'm kidding. I did not. Yes, this is from Rising, talking about exactly that piece.
Americans are increasingly rejecting the two major political parties, as per new polling. Recent Gallup survey found 45% of U.S. adults identify as political independents in the first year of President Trump's second term in office, surpassing the 43% measured in 2014, 2023, and 2024.
The rise in the political independence reflects generational shifts. Younger generations of Americans are continuing to identify as independents at relatively high rates. About 56% of Gen Z adults now call them.
This is a big deal. Gen Z and Gen Alpha were supposed to be the most liberal of all the liberals. Not necessarily true. Now the word liberal has come back into more popularity, but they were supposed to be the most left of the left. That's not actually happening.
Themselves independents, as compared with 47% of millennials in 2012 and 40% of Gen X adults in 1992.
When comparing party identification and leanings, about 47% of Americans identified as Democrats or Democratic leaning.
Yeah, Democrats still have a majority across the country.
Independents, whereas 42% identified as Republicans.
They beat Republicans, I should say.
Republicans are Republican leading independents.
Meanwhile, about 35% of Americans in 2025 described their views as very conservative, or conservative as compared to 28%, describing it as very liberal, while 33% identified as moderate. Here is
moderate's one of the most popular things we have here, right? Moderate, it's a big, most Americans are moderate. That's true. How do I know that? I know that from a very important thing, right? You might go, Larry, is there a way that you could figure out whether you're more liberal or whether you're more moderate? There is. It absolutely is. You can click that link to the Advocates for Self-Government. That is actually in the description. Oh, did you see me pop this one to the other? Am I good or what? Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Sharpe, for that. So you can actually do it if you want to. You can head over to the Advocates for Self-Government. It's theadvocates.org. Click the link that is right now in Rumble, also in the description on YouTube and description on Facebook. Click that specific link and head over and take the world's smallest political quiz. 28 million people have already taken it just recently. Please take that poll. In that poll, people have told me often, Larry, did that poll, they're trying to get you to say libertarian. No, that's not true. Again, a plurality of people actually come up as moderate because most Americans are moderate. Most are. Not all, but most are. Not majority, I should say. A plurality of Americans are moderate. That's maybe a better way of saying it. Not majority, but a plurality of Americans are moderate when you compare them to libertarian, authoritarian, progressive, or conservative. The plurality of people are moderate. What are you? Take this. They're a sponsor of the show. Please go click that specific link. Take it. Larry, I took it. Take it again. And then share it again. Because the more you share it, the more people see it, the more it becomes normal. And someone goes, you know what? This guy's posted this damn advocates thing like 3 times. I should go take it. That's what I want. That's what I want. So post it again so people see it. It's theadvocates.org. They're a sponsor of the show. It's free. Please take it and then share it. Thank you, guys. So thank you for that, Straya, for hooking me up. I do appreciate that. Got me to actually do one of my things. I love it. So let me pop this up if I could so you can see. I'll do a little bit more of this. There's one piece that's kind of important here from this rising piece.
CNN's Harry Enton, Robbie's favorite, explaining how changes in ideological identification are mainly apparent among Democrats.
Yes.
Democrats who say they're liberal. In 1976, it was 30%. In 2001, actually went down a point. It was 29%. Look at where we are today. 59%. 3 in 5 Democrats say they are liberal.
And here's the issue. You are finding liberals and Republicans, Democrats moving further left and right. That's true. But Democrats more than Republicans by percentage. And one of the reasons is about 60 to 65% of Democrats are women. Women are heavily Democrats and heavily liberal, and they're more progressive / liberal than they've ever been. So yes, women are becoming more and more liberal, and men are becoming more progressive. I mean, more conservative. However, you're finding another backlash, a backlash against the establishment. Now, Trump in 2016 was seen as a rebel. He's not for most people anymore. He's now seen as the establishment, and that's why he's losing the youth now.
It might have used to be that the Democratic Party was almost more moderate conservative. You know, Bill Clinton, of course, DLC, the Democratic Leadership Council. No longer the case. That DLC is adios amigos. This Democratic Party is a liberal.
Not wrong. Absolutely true. So thank you for that, Stray, for bringing this up. It's absolutely true. You're seeing it. Trump actually was saying recently that he's a little bit concerned. He doesn't understand. He wants to punish the pollsters because his polling right now is so bad. He's rolling the dice. I've been saying it. He's rolling the dice. We'll see what happens. So let me grab a couple more of these. Thank you for that, Stray, by the way. Looking at JJ over on Rumble. Thank you for the dollar. He says, many in the populist grassroots, prominently DeSantis, think big business is not worth bending over anymore. Seems they will go woke to appease the woke division of the workplace. That's true. I think DeSantis is correct on that. Big business, again, is apathetic. Big business doesn't care about Trump or about DeSantis or about Biden. Big business wants what big business wants. Who will give it to them? They'll say yes. Fine. Biden will do it? Done. Trump will do it? Done. DeSantis? Done. They'll go. Now, right now, it looks like Rubio is going to be better for big business than Vance. Van looks like, again, I don't know the details of this. This is just my view I see from outside. Could be wrong. It looks like Vance is much more of a tech bro type than a big business type. Now, I know they often overlap, but they're different. It's new money versus old money, if that makes any sense, right? Vance is much more new money. Rubio is much more old money. There's a whole lot more old money than there is new money. So I think that's an issue. That's why I think that, yeah. But anyway, your point being, I agree with you. Business will go woke in 5 seconds if that's where the money is. If that's where I can get what I want, 100%. That whole ESG thing, that was all big business. That was all finances. The problem with America, there's many problems, but the biggest problem with America right now in the economy is finance takes up too much of our economy. Finance should be part of our economy. It's an important part of our economy. We need finance, but it's too damn big. We make too much money on finance. What does that mean? When the BlackRocks of the world decide, you have to do X, Y, and Z, or we're not going to hire, or we're not going to give you money. They had rules like, and even the guy from Sharpe was saying it. They would have rules like, no, you have to have a woman CEO. You have to, or we're not going to give you money. But I have a great plan. Don't care. Woman CEO, nothing. And if BlackRock wouldn't go, and other people don't know is, even though someplace like a BlackRock or some sovereign fund may not be the only thing financing something, everyone else around it will not follow until they finance. So once BlackRock goes, okay, I'll throw 10 million in. And okay, million, 10 million, 100 million. Everyone else is putting money in because BlackRock started it. So if BlackRock goes, I want a female CEO, and that kind of thing was happening, they'd go, but we don't have a female CEO. Well, you screwed. And they go find one. They just go find one. Okay, we're going to find one, yeah. Or we need a certain percentage of people of color, a certain percentage of gay, a certain percent, whatever. BlackRock was just making these rules. That's the ESG piece we're talking about, right? And that was a real thing. That's kind of going away now, but that was a real thing. So they would just say that. So now I got a company and I got to all of a sudden find, 3 gay people, 1 person of color, and 1 woman, or I can't get funded. That was a real thing. Well, yeah. And so the companies went, okay, I'll go woke. I got to make multiple bathrooms or something. I'll find, yeah, whatever. How do I get funded? Oh, okay. I got to put a pride flag on my social media so I can get funded. Done. Pride flag it is. So yeah. All righty. JJ goes on to say for the dollar, thank you. Can't spell her without HR. Oh my God. Okay. This is going to be anti-woman, but I'm going to say it just, okay. This is a thing people talk about. The idea of awfuls. All right. I'm saying what JJ says. Don't be mad at me. All right. Can't spell her without HR. Awfuls, which are angry, white, female, urban liberals, are ruining the nation and the propaganda institutions like universities in Phoenix, volcanic treatment, burn, and use ashes. Okay. No violence. No violence. Is there an issue with urban white women? Clearly, there's an issue there. True. You're not wrong. And one of the reasons why, if you don't know, there's many reasons why, but one of the biggest ones is urban areas are meccas for female talent. I live in New York City. It's one of the biggest meccas for female talent, right? So you get lots of female talent coming to New York because they know that's a good place to go to your career. The problem is you wind up flooding the area with this. So you come from a smaller community and you're a savvy woman who's got a degree or does this or has experience. And in your smaller community, you're a heavy hitter. Like, wow, she's impressive. She's from so-and-so place. That's impressive. New York, there's 1,000 of you. It's supply and demand. It sounds horrible. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just being, it's an 8 million person city that is a mecca for talented women. So when you came from your smaller town or smaller city, you were probably amazing, right? Because compared to all the other people there, you had all the stuff. Now you come here, just 7 of you in this room. All smart, savvy, degreed up, whatever, all the things. Not so impressive anymore. And it makes them angry. It does. It makes them angry. They don't like it. Because like, wait a minute. I thought I was super cool. Because where I came from, you were super cool over there. Here? Not a slight. Just supply and demand. It's just how it works. You come into the big cities, you're not as cool as you thought you were. So, yeah. Appreciate that. Looking over at Instagram. Steven says, thank you both for all you do. Oh, thank you. There we go. Gibson says, did you ever think of running for Senator of New York at one point? Never. It's useless. Useless for many reasons. One, I can't win or make impact. Neither. It's a vanity run. If I run for senator, it's because I want to be cool or something or whatever. There's no chance of victory, and if I won, it wouldn't matter anyway. Say I got 10%. I got 20%. I did great. I got 20% as senator for New York. What does that mean? Nothing. You remember the last Republicans who ran for Senate? Who the hell even knows? Doesn't matter. It means nothing. I can't win a primary as Democrat, and the senator means nothing. And if I get 10, 20%, I don't get anything. There's no ballot access for it. There's no party status for it. I don't mean anything, and it means nothing. It's useless. So why would I do it? I want to run to make impact, right? When I run for office, I go into debt. I'm not making that up. People know it. I'll go into debt. I was $100,000 in debt after my first run in 2018, $40,000 after my second run in 2022. I'll be in debt after this run too. I'll be in debt again. So yeah, why would I do it to lose money and make no impact? No, thank you. I appreciate the offer. Let someone else do it. Even if I just get 3% running for governor of New York as libertarian, I get ballot access, and now the party exists in New York State, and I can start building something out in this state. I get something, but even just 3%. So of course I'd run for that for governor. Of course I would. So hope that makes sense at least. So all right, we keep going down these roads if I can. So many of these. I'm trying to grab as many as I can because there are so many that I appreciate it. So, all righty. Shelley says, can we now protest on a baby deletion clinic if we just claim to be a journalist? Would the Triple K allow Don Jim to join up? I don't think so. No, I get your point. But I feel like for him, this was a desperate troll, and I think it worked. To be forward, I think it worked, right? I don't think he's gonna do any jail time, even if the odds are they'll just throw it out because he's gonna go journalist. They're gonna be light on him because and again, because this will be unfair, Shelley, but I think it's so true because he's from CNN. I know you go, but does that make him a journalist or not? In the eyes of some judge, probably yes. And again, not fair, not right, but I still think true. A judge would be like, oh, no, that's the CNN guy. Hey, it's fine. That would be if I had to guess what's going to happen, that's my guess. Judge goes, oh, CNN guy, what are you doing? Stop. That is my guess. Maybe that's what I would assume will happen. So I'm sorry, I haven't paid attention to this because Don Lemon means nothing to me, but I get your point. And I understand Mike's point that you want to people who make mistakes do things, but all I remember is he went into the church or something. I don't get the whole details of it, but this is a troll for him. And I don't see a judge putting him in jail. And again, if it was me or you, Shelley, we go into jail. It's blatantly unfair. I'm gonna be very clear. Blatantly unfair. Me or you, we go into jail. But a judge is gonna look at me at CNN and go, nah. That'd be my guess. We'll see if I'm right. So, all righty. Let's see here. Rick says, if life hands you lemon, it's from a church. Not wrong. Not wrong. Romero says the Republican machine will stop Massie just like how the Democrat machine stopped Bernie. If he went for president, yes, they're trying to stop him locally. It's not working. He's built too much locally, right? So they probably won't. So yes. All righty. Let's see here. Dan says, Larry, you have made a final decision. If you're running a Republican primary, the clock's it is ticking. I have to make an official announcement by next week. So I will make an official announcement by next week. I will make an official announcement by next week. That's what I'm telling you. I will make an official announcement by next week. Just so we know. It is ticking. I will let you know by next week. 100%. Yes. All righty. Henry says, God bless Thomas Massie. Nice. John says, Massie could, but the establishment would absolutely wreck him and make sure he's thwarted. They're trying already. The problem is they don't know any better except to attack. That's all they know. Attack, attack, attack. That is all they know. They know nothing else. So they just keep attacking him. The problem is that does make him stronger, right? I can't wait till they attack me. So it does make him stronger, but doesn't mean he can win. Probably not. I don't think he's going to win. I think you're right on that one. I do not think that. Yes. So, right, we covered that piece. Okay, I think I covered that one too. Did I cover all those questions? I think I did. Okay, let me keep going down. I'm trying to grab all the questions I possibly can. I'm doing that, with the AMA piece. So, all righty. Okay. Andrea says, the more Trump comments about how bad Massie is, the more independence he loses. Yeah, Trump loses more independence. I agree. Trump is losing them now. He is gambling horribly. We'll see if it works for him. It doesn't, right now, it doesn't look good, I think. It doesn't look good for Trump right now. But maybe. Rick Paul says, it looks like Larry has an impactful job, so he did not ascend to the throne in Albany. Well, look, if I can jump on consult for Massie, I'm in. I'd consult for him if I was governor. But yes, absolutely. LM says, after watching this episode, I changed my voter registration from independent Republican so I can vote in the Republican primary. There we go. I like that. Yes. All righty. Mastermind says, Colorado is nice that they choose which primary to vote in. I think we should have that in New York State too. I think open primaries is let me go with the primary piece, theory versus practice. The hardcore libertarians go, Larry, it's wrong. A group should be able to decide what they want within a group. Yes, that's true in theory, but the government allows the political parties to control the elections, right? The government puts the party names on the ballot, promoting the parties. The government pays for the primary, promoting the parties. The government decides what happens with them going from A to B. They make this. The government decides this, right? The parties take government money, and we get matching funds for a primary. So taxpayers pay for the primary, even individuals running. If you got rid of all the taxpayer dollars and they didn't post any party on the ballot, only a name, and ballot access was as simple as, 1,000 signatures, and that's it, you're done, or maybe a fee, and that's all, I'm with you. We should close primaries. I get it, but that's not what happens. Since they control it, and they do, that's it. That's it. So, yeah, that's how that works. Okay. So I think we should have open primaries because of that. All right. Let's see here. I remember that piece. Walk down here. Shelly says, I'm waiting to hear if Larry will be in the primary. I will make an announcement next week. I will. I'll make an announcement next week. I promise. Yes. All righty. Cover that piece. All righty. D says, let's be clear when it comes to the Dems supporting Massie. They're only trying to gain by using him. MAGA says Massie is siding with Dems. It's the other way around. It's true. The Dems are supporting Massie because they're trying to hurt Trump. That's true. No doubt you're correct. But there's another piece. Some of the Dems are getting behind him because they see him as the best hope they have for impact when they know in their area a Republican's going to win, right? Even though Kentucky does have a Democratic governor, many parts of Kentucky are deep red. And they also have straight ticket voting. We just press a button, all Republicans, press a button, all Democrats. Blatantly unconstitutional, but most of our elections are blatantly unconstitutional. So yes, so that's how that works. So that's why they're like, well, you know what? He's the best thing I'm going to get. So there's some of that too. Patty says, sometimes I feel like Donald Trump was installed to sabotage our country from within. A lot of people think that. A lot of people think that. I don't think that's true, but I get the feeling. Like, I do get the feeling. I understand the feeling, and you're not alone with that. So, yeah. All righty. Adirondack says, to get the big dollar donations, you'd have to sell access and have to pay to play system. Honest candidates don't work that way. Big money donate to others that will. I know. I wish I was getting more. Do you know how tempting it is to sell out? I'm not joking. It's very tempting. I get offers all the time. Not as much this time, though. 2018, ton of offers. 2022, ton of offers. 2026, not much. And the reason is they figured out, why bother? He's going to say no. And they're right. I didn't get much this year. Usually I get a bunch. So not this year. Shelley says, I read that you think 14-year-olds should be allowed to marry. That was back in 2020. Yep, probably 2018. That was one of the lies they made. Not true. Never said it. They just made it up. They literally just made it up. So, and that's what my team was on to say, Larry, we got to make sure that, we don't give them anything. They'll just make it up. I've never said that, never thought about that, never been an issue for me, whatever, never happened, utterly made up. They will just make things up. That's it. That's how it works. They just make things up. So, yeah, that's the hard part. Dominic says, oops, the GOP in New York is dead. Is it worth infiltrating? Yes. Yes, I think it is. It can be repaired. Because the people in the current GOP leadership are very different than the actual Republican voters. The average Republican voter actually wants change. The GOP leadership does not. And I don't care if they hear me, it's true. They go out of their way to not talk to me, out of their way to dismiss me. I've been telling them how to change for 8 years. They ignore me. They don't want to change. They want to keep it exactly the way it is. They have their little fiefdoms. They have their little control. They have their government jobs. They don't want to change a damn thing. They want nothing to change. The average Republican desperately wants to change. So they would only change if they think they'll lose their jobs. So all you do is get in there and say, make change or you're gone. Now, that's not easy to do, but that's what needs to be done. And then things would change. So yes. D says, but Larry, MAGA tells me that Massie doesn't do anything. They say big deal, one bill. But to be fair, they're a bunch of yes, also true. But yeah, look, is Massie making massive changes in the Congress? No. They're not wrong in that. I mean, he's not, right? He's one guy. How can he? Is he making impact? Yes. Is he helping people? Yes. Is he getting people motivated to help out? Yes. He's broken a hole. Now it's up to us to move through. So yes, but I mean, of course, how can he? Right? How can he? So he also goes on and say, I really wish we could get Thomas Massie on a Sharpe podcast. Maybe you should reach out to him again. I'm okay with that. Let's do it. So, all righty. Let's see here. Adirondack says, what has a lieutenant governor in New York ever done as lieutenant governor? I never see them. Generally speaking, lieutenant governors, they do things like ceremonial stuff. For example, so some companies coming to New York State and the governor can't make it, so lieutenant governor comes and cuts the ribbon. Somebody's going to show up and do something. The lieutenant governor shows up instead and talks and says hi and gives a speech. That's basically all they really do. And unless you're Delgado, the current one, in which case you run against your boss. That you do. So yes. All righty. I guess that answered. Okay. Shelley says, in a marriage, you supposedly have a great relationship if you agree on 70%. I've heard that before. I've actually also heard the 3-to-1 thing, which would be 75%, which is for every 3 things you agree upon, 1 you don't. For every 3 positive interactions you have, 1 is bad. Like that's what success is in most relationships, to include marriages. So if every time we interact, Shelley, 3 times it's good and 1 it's bad, we're probably doing really well. Or same bad. 3 are positive and 1 is a bit negative. We're probably doing okay. If it's the reverse, we're probably in trouble. So yeah, I've heard 75%. That's what I've heard. So, all righty. Oh, Mike's hardcore. Okay. He says, Massie versus AOC for Prez, most likely right. Damn, you'd write in. You hate Massie that much. Okay. But not guaranteed. So saving America could be a reason. Fine. Okay, so maybe. Okay, so maybe if it was AOC versus Massie, he might. Okay, maybe. We'll see. Alrighty. Rhetoric says, Massie's cool, but I'm still all in for a Sharpe Cohen president VP run. Oh, thank you. But then it'll be Sharpe Spike, right? Sharpe Spike. If we do that, it's Sharpe Spike. So much better. There we go. But D says, Spike Cohen's right where he's supposed to be with You Are the Power. I used to be selfish and want him to run, but he does more where he's right now to keep government accountable. True. Absolutely agree. Totally true. Right. Look, I love Spike. You guys know I love Spike. But he's doing a great job where he is now, and he doesn't want to run. Look, most people, after they run once, are like, this sucks. I don't want to run again. I'm the asshole who keeps doing this. Right? Spike did. He's like, this is terrible. I don't do it again. Lars, this is terrible. I don't want to do it again. Like once they do, like, I'm done. This is terrible. I don't want to do it again. And I get it. They're right. He doesn't want it. So would he be great? Yes. Should he do it? No. So yes. Doc says shotgun for two. Yes. Massman says web. That's actually true. The web shooter is actually they're trying to consider how to make that happen. It's not perfected yet. For those who don't know, a web shooter is actually you shoot it out and it's almost like it's called a bolo. I think it's called a bolo if I'm not mistaken. That pops out and it kind of wraps itself around the drone. The drone propellers get trapped in the web and it falls down. So yes, so that's one concept. Yes, so that's what you're supposed to do if you can. So, but shotguns also work very well. Adirondack says the scattering gets it done. It does. In close combat, whether that's trench warfare or house to house. We did a lot of house to house when we were in Iraq and Afghanistan. A lot of that house clearing, and Ukraine war is heavily trench warfare and house to house too, as you go into towns and cities. So we're talking, you're engaging your enemy at 50 meters, 25 meters, 10 meters. What do you need a rifle for, right? Most of these rifles are created to engage your enemy at 300 meters, which is wonderful but I don't need it. I need to be effective within 100 meters. Now, a shotgun is virtually ineffective at 300 meters. I mean, it's ineffective. But at 25 meters, shotgun really effective. 10 meters, super effective. If I'm trying to stop a drone, if I have to fire one round at a drone, imagine one round having a drone. That's very tough. But I got a shotgun splatter. I got a shot hitting that drone and dropping it. And drones are the future. I mean, without question. Drones are the now. Phil says shotgun's very versatile. It's a heavy hitter. You don't carry as many rounds. Well, you can if you want to, right? You can. There are semi-automatic shotguns, lots of them. So you could. It's up to you. But if you carried several weapons, right, versus rifle and K-bar, which was when I was in the Marine Corps, rifle K-bar or rifle bayonet was a common thing. I actually, believe it or not, I actually owned a kukri. I know it's kind of funny, but I don't know what a kukri is. Hold on, see if I can show you what a kukri. This is a true story. I used to keep in the armory. I worked in an armory, so I used to keep it in the armory. I actually owned a kukri knife, and I would take it with me when I would go out. Let's see if I can find it here. And when I would go out to the field, and I would carry it with me. Yes. All right. Let me get you some images of the dreaded kukri knife. So, all right. Let me see if I can find it here. This is a knife that I owned when I bought it online back like in the 80s or 90s. I don't know. I bought it through I bought it through a Soldier of Fortune magazine. I'm not joking. It's actually true what I did. I bought it through that, and I kept it as I thought it was so cool, and I would carry it around when I would go onto the field. So I would have rifle and kukri. So hold on. Yes, that's the kukri knife. You can see it. There is the picture. That was the blade I have. It is from the Gurkhas. The Gurkhas are a special force of the British. I'll see if I can actually. Are there any Gurkha? There we go. Do we have any Gurkha? There we go. These are the Gurkhas. There we go. So can we sign a picture of them here? There we go. Picture of them. So literally, I would have my rifle in one hand and my kukri in the other, as I would do our exercises, and I would carry it like this. It almost looked like a firearm on the side. It's such a big knife. I'm such a geek, I know, but it's true. That's actually true. But the other advantage was when I would pull my kukri out, right? When as a squad leader, I pull my kukri out, they could all see me and they knew that was me. I'm the only idiot with a kukri in the air. So it was a good symbol. They would know who I was. So that was the kind of cool thing. And no one bought, they loved it. They thought it was kind of cool. So, which it was kind of cool. True. So, all righty. Let's see here. All right. Dominic says, how do you feel about Nicole Malinakis District New York 11 being declared unconstitutional by Supreme Court Justice Jeffrey Perlman because it marginalized Black Latino voters in Staten Island? It was an absolute brilliant move by the Democrats. I mean, just brilliant. I'm not saying it's right, but brilliant move. The Democrats know exactly how to do it. For those who don't know, gerrymandering is still legal, except if it's racial. Then it can't be done. And the Democrats showed a judge, hey, see, she's a racist. And the judge went, oh, okay. And read, yes, it's going to screw her over. I know Nicole. She's probably going to lose her seat now. It is, but look, to be forward, this is because of all you guys who like gerrymandering, right? The Democrats tried it hardcore in New York and got shut down in 2022. And that's why New York got like 5 Republicans, because the Democrats went too far. Well, Trump made a mistake and went, well, I'll just do it in Texas or whatever. And I was like, don't do it. You're going to hate it. Of course, no one listens to me because I knew what would happen. California would do it. Virginia's going to do it now. Yes. And now New York's going to do it. Trump was trying to get extra Republican House seats for 2026. In theory, a smart move. But the problem is Democrats control the bigger states, and the swinger states, they just swoop it around, boom. Now you're going to find the reverse going to happen. There's going to be about a positive 4 or 5 when it's all said and done, assuming it goes the way the Democrats want. Overall, the Democrats are going to gain 4 or 5 seats just from gerrymandering. So yeah, you need to either read them all or none of them. It's unfair to Nicole, but I saw it coming. You guys I was talking about this. I saw it coming. So yes. Mike says, shotguns, trench guns were illegal per Geneva Convention, as I recall, but U.S. should not switch to 7.72. It causes problems as things stockpiles and backward compatibility. That's my problem, Mike. See, Mike and I are on the same page here. I am concerned about going to 7.62. Now, if it is an overall thing, great. But then what do you do with the literally, hundreds of millions, if not billions of rounds of 5.56? What do you do with that? The existing stockpiles are massive. Do you make the M4, the AR-15, do you make it a civilian gun? And then civilians have different firearms to military? Maybe maybe. I'm just thinking out loud. I'm not sure where that even goes. But yeah, that's an issue, right? That's an issue. So, all righty. Phil says, Mike, to use against a person, yes, but against a door, there were a lot of people making the doors. Yeah, true. Yes, I'll give you an interesting. I was in artillery when I was in the Marine Corps, and we would often talk about using white phosphorus, which also goes to Willie Pete. There's a scene in the movie Fury where the tank commander, the tank sergeant, the tank commander is played by Brad Pitt, and he says put Willie Pete in the building in case they want to fight. So he fires a white phosphorus. White phosphorus, when it hits bodies, burns. It's almost like a solid napalm almost. When it gets inside, just keeps burning, right? We would actually have white phosphorus grenades as Marines in every unit. And the goal was, as an artillery unit, if we could overrun, you take the Willie Pete grenade and put it down the barrel of the artillery piece, so you can trash it so the enemy can't use it. So if you have to get out and abandon your post, you burn everything, right? You would open up the Humvee, Willie Pete grenade into the engine, blast the entire thing to pieces, burns it out. You can't use it. So that's how you would destroy it. We'd have Willie Pete grenades to destroy our equipment, right? And me being in an armory, I had lots of Willie Pete. So, and if anything happened, you're not getting my armory. I'm burning my armory to the ground. You're not getting my armory. I'm burning it to the ground. No one's getting it. You're not getting any of my weapons. My stock, you attack my area, my stockpile you get is 0. All burned. So that's what's supposed to happen. So yeah. Any case, I think there were, where was I bringing with this? We would talk about calling in fire, and it's against the Geneva Convention to use white phosphorus against personnel. Correct. You can't. So we'd do it. We'd call them. We would say, calling in a fire for effect. And we would say, cartridge belts in the open, backpacks in the open, boots in the open. Well, the people are wearing the backpack, cartridge belts, and boots. But I'm not targeting the people. See, Phil? I'm targeting the boots. I'm targeting the equipment. And you can use white phosphorus against equipment. So I'm not targeting the people. I'm targeting their cartridge belts. I'm targeting their backpacks. I'm not targeting them. They happen to be there. I know, kind of cute. But yes, I went a bit long on that. But yes, it's kind of cute. So, all right. Let me keep going down this road if I could. All righty. D says Rubio and Vance are both horrible. Phil says, if we're going to talk about his weapons, this isn't a show for me. I'm from the give peace a chance crowd. No, not all, but again, it is an AMA, so we will walk down that road for sure. Massman Hour says Rubio has name recognition. True, it's accurate. Mike says Vance has 2028 locked. Okay, Dems will use 28 to test the new blood, and who'll be leading to 2032. So you think not only does he have the Republican nomination locked, but you think he also wins the election? I don't know. That's a lot of chickens being counted. And the election, I don't know. I think a lot could. It's 2 years from now. A lot could change. Really? Okay, we'll find out. That seems like a lot. And then Y says ICE can surge into a city and get out all the illegals, but they can never have the ability to stay. So the city will fill back up with illegals when ICE leaves. Best to keep them out in the first place. Yes, true. Remove those that get in when we have a run-in with local and state law enforcement. Yes. You can negotiate with ICE and say, hey, when we arrest these guys, where do you want them? How about that? Right? When we arrest the bad guys, hey, ICE, where do you want them? Do you want them in a local jail? Do you want them in a holding facility? Right? When local law enforcement has a run-in with someone, okay, great. Where do you want them? That's a smart move. Then ICE can pick them up from there. Not a bad idea either. All of these are good ideas, right? Coordination is the key. Little Frog says, Massie, I'd vote for POTUS hands down. However, he'd never win because presidents, in my opinion, are selected rather than elected. I know, you're probably right, but I hate it. I want you to be wrong. I want you to be wrong. JJ says, many of the populist grassroots think big business is something worth bending over. Populists often do, but I get it because they need the cash. Look, I feel it too, right? I feel it too. I feel the same pressures, right? And again, I'm just running for governor. I feel the same pressures, right? I want it to be able to, of course. So, yes. All right. D-Nice says, maybe dumb question. If you get a paid trip abroad, where would you go and why? If I get a paid trip? Well, if it was from a donor, I wouldn't take it because it'd be a bribe. So I wouldn't take one of those. Unless I was already done running. Like if it was over and someone was like, Larry, good job. Here's a trip because we love you. Then that'd be different. But if I was still running, I wouldn't take it. If it's like I win it like a prize or something, I'm not sure what the scenario is here. I'm not sure the dumb question. I think it's an unclear question. So I'm gonna say it that I run for governor, I don't win, and a donor loves me and wants to reward me afterwards with a trip. That would be okay because, again, I'm not running for office. It'd be just he wants to help me out and be nice to me. That wouldn't be a bribe because I have no power. There's no quid pro quo because I have no power. Then, okay, if that were the case, I could go anywhere I want, I guess, in this case, too. Is that what I'm saying? I'm assuming that you mean what you mean. Good question. I might go back to Europe. I haven't been to Europe in a while. I might go back to Europe if I got a free trip. Take my girls, take my daughters. I might do that. So Central Europe, maybe like Denmark, Germany, Poland, that area, maybe like that. So maybe that. So yes. All right. I hope I answered that question. So, all righty. The beauty says our constitution means something. I give a shit. I wish it did. It doesn't. I wish it did. I'm with you. I am with you. I wish it did. I really wish it did. Yes. Massman says Don wants to go to jail and prove his station. Yes, you're not wrong. I think you're right. Yes. Beauty says enter the church during worship interrupted against the law. Yeah. But I'm not saying you're wrong. What I'm saying is I can see a judge just going, no, you're CNN, so you're fine. That's what I bet. Yes. So yeah. Massimanago goes, he went to church to cover protest. That's all he has to say. Massimanago, you're right. That's all he has to say. He says that, judge lets him go. DA probably drops charges. Or something. That's all I have to say. And I'm not saying you guys are wrong in what you're saying. I don't know if he went in and did it, but what I'm saying is, does it matter? It's just going to happen. So Mike says it's not about Lemon, but the media pushed about the First Amendment and divide America. It's about an increasing tension of radicals committing violence. Yeah, but the government's doing it too. You're not wrong, but I mean, if I'm worried about someone stopping the First Amendment, it's not freaking Don Lemon. I mean, that's not the guy I care about. I don't care about him. I'm much worried about Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. YouTube. Far more worried about those guys than I am Don Lemon. I mean, I'm not saying you're wrong, but this is a hill I don't want to die on. This seems like something that people just want to talk about. Like, yeah, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm missing something. It's possible I'm missing something. I don't see it. If I feel like, okay, Don Lemon wants to be important, so he goes and puts himself in the middle of something, and then it's almost like a Kardashian, right? I want to be important. Look at me. No, I'm not gonna look at you, man. You're a has-been. So yeah, that's just my thing. Beauty says, sorry, disagree. Our country has to mean something. Okay, I'm not saying you're wrong, but Don Lemon? Let's put Zuckerberg in jail. Then I'm like, yes. Who literally shut down free speech on freaking Facebook. Yeah, way worse. Way worse. Then now we're doing something. Let's put Biden in jail for colluding with these guys. Let's do that. I'm in. Absolutely. Yes. 100%. JD Henge, do the Amish have the right to ban cars on their roads? Do you mean roads you mean their private driveways? Is that what you mean by their roads? Private driveways? Private driveway? Why not? If it's a private driveway. I mean, they're going to tell you to leave. They can't shoot you, right? But if you want to drive down their road to go see them, or something, you're a salesman or you're a government guy and you want to go see them, you drive them and they go, hey, we don't want you on our road. Okay, yes. Well, then I need to go see Ezekiel. Is he around? Bring Ezekiel out and I'll walk away, right? Whatever. So yeah, I don't know. If it's don't you have a right to ban people from coming on your private property? Assuming it's private property again. If it's a road that's in an Amish area, no, it's still a public road. But if it's your private driveway, why not? So yeah. So Shelley says, Bronner, he violated the Triple K Act and the FACE Act and crossed state lines to commit crimes. Yeah, I mean, I guess guys are. Yeah, I guess if it matters that much, I guess yes. I feel like it's virtue signaling because it's Don Lemon. That's what my feeling is. And I feel like a judge is going to be like, no. Or DA, did they even charge him? I don't even know. Was he charged? Did the DA even charge him? If a DA charged him, it was because he was pressured. Or maybe there's a bunch of people there and they charged the whole bunch. But all Don Lemon has to say, and again, I'm not saying it's right. I'm saying it's true, is CNN. Yeah, I don't see it. And then Y says they have lanterns on buggies up here with red lenses on the backside and clear on front. Yeah, exactly. Yep. Yeah, I agree. Romero says, I can't wait for the day when politicians actually fix the problems that they campaign on instead of bitching and moaning while they do absolutely nothing. We got a while for that. Yes. Mastermind, the Amish do not have the right to tie a rope around a horse's genitals and call it a parking brake. Ouch. Is that true? Do they do that? Wow. Mike says, Bronna, Lemon aided and abetted radical leftist groups. And okay. Is that true? Okay. He aided and abetted. How did he aided and abetted them? Okay. All right. Now I got to look this stupid thing up. See, it's your fault, Mike. I got to look this thing up now. All right. During services screamed about ICE. The leaders have been arrested, but Lemon is not yet. There we go. I'm kind of right already. They arrested a bunch of people and didn't arrest him. Yeah. He's just gonna say, unless there's like evidence. Is there some evidence? Like, did he post this? And like, I remember there was someone did a video on that. I saw he posted stuff. Did he post like, let's get him or something? Did he do that? All right. Now I gotta look it up. All right. Okay. Now I gotta look it up. Okay. All right. Bronna, that church was supposed to be tied to ICE. Oh, now I remember this. Okay. Yes. Yeah. I remember this now. Okay. Yes. Now I remember this. Okay. They're supposedly the people were going to the church because the church guy was a member of ICE or something. And then Donlin was with them. I remember the story now. Okay. Yes. He didn't get arrested yet, though. Okay. All right. Bronner says, I know Obama deported many more people than Trump, but Trump's ICE out of control. That's no excuse for what Lemon did, in my opinion. I'll go 2 points. The reason why Trump's ICE is out of control is because Obama did so much. What I mean by that, the Trump team wants to beat Obama. They can't. I've been saying it forever. It is impossible. The Trump team was far more effective. Most of their deportations were close to the border because they had border guards when people were coming across. And they were looking for people who actually had some type of claim versus people who didn't. And those who didn't have an actual claim, they were getting rid of them. They had a system that was in place. When Biden came in, he destroyed the entire thing. There was no system in place. It doesn't exist. Trump has to rebuild it from zero. It doesn't exist. So, okay, you got to close the border. Well done. No, most of Americans are happy to close the border. But now this thing? And now he's openly, I don't know if it's him personally. Maybe it's Holman. Maybe it's whoever. Maybe it's Noam. But somebody's like, we got to up these numbers. We got to up these numbers. We got to up these numbers. Terrible idea. You're not going to get Obama's numbers. It is, again, physically impossible to make those numbers. Now, at least. Maybe in a couple of years you could. Maybe. But you can't do it now. It's impossible. And then you're going to force these guys to make mistakes, which you're seeing them do. You're going to force them to get sloppy, which you've seen them do. And this environment, remember, Orange Man is bad. Anything happens, it's Trump's fault. They win. The Democrats win when it's Orange Man bad. So why? Because remember, these politicians don't care if people get shot in the streets. They don't care. I don't mean to be mean. They don't. They say they did it. They don't care. Some woman gets shot in the streets. Democrat government gets to go. Governor gets to go. See, I'm beating up on Trump. See, I'm winning. Democratic mayor goes, I'm winning. See, Trump's evil. I'm winning. And he gets to raise money. Well, to be very forward, Republicans raise money on that too. I get. How do I know? I get the emails. I get all the. I send to all the. I get all of them. I get all of them. We got to stop ICE from destroying our cities. Just $10 more and we can stop Trump. That's the shit I get. And the reverse, I get the same thing. Got to support our ICE people. They're doing Trump's job. What's what you voted for? Blah, blah, blah. Give me $10. They're all raising money off this. And what are we doing? Yelling at each other over it so they can raise money. Meanwhile, people still can't pay their rent. So, yes, Trump's ICE is out of control because of the environment and because of Obama. Both of those reasons. Yes. I've been saying it forever. This is a terrible idea. It's not working. You can't do it. It's impossible. But the incentives are for them to do so, so they do so. That's why. The incentives are for them to do so, so they do so. That's it. So, any case. All right. Massman, I wasn't justifying adding important context. Yeah, that is important context. I agree. That is. It's important context. Yep. I completely agree. It is important context. Yep. Adirondack says there were 56 reported deaths in ICE custody during the Obama administration. No outrage. No, because it wasn't Orange Man bad. That's my other point, Adirondack. You have to understand the current environment. Of course not. Didn't Obama build the cages? Am I wrong? Isn't that true? That Trump put the kids in cages. Didn't Obama build them? I'm pretty sure that's true. The environment has changed. That's the issue. The environment has changed. So, yes. All right. Let's see here. Okay. I'm sure, Mike, though, it was mostly peaceful. I just made Mike throw up a little bit. Shelley says the children in his church were terrified because it was a church school shooting in the recent memory. It was disgusting, to say the least. Well, there we go. So he was actually involved in it. Okay. There we go. Dominic says, why do you think women tend to be more liberal versus men who tend to be more conservative? It's common that way. It's the way brains are. I know people go, oh, men and women are the same. They're not. It's not a thing. I know people will say they are. It's not a thing. The brain's just different. Just different brains. Different brains from both nature and nurture. That's why. So yes. All right. Let's see here. Agree with you, Mike. The media picks who we should be furious at. That is my problem. Bronna, that's my problem. Yes. That is my problem. 100%. Yes. And the problem is now this becomes this again becomes just us versus them, right? The left goes, well, obviously Don Lemon is perfect and wonderful. He's, whatever, because he was fighting ICE and therefore everything is wonderful, right? Just says that. And then everyone else goes, oh, Don Lemon's evil. Why? Because he's fighting ICE, therefore he's evil, versus actually trying to understand why, which is why I tend to just ignore this stuff. I probably shouldn't, but it does bother me. So, but he goes, entitlement. We have no gratitude for the greatest experiment ever in the history of the world. Americans are spoiled, rotten little brats. There is a piece that the Europeans even said about that. The Europeans were talking about that during the WEF. A couple of them actually came out and said that. They were like, we've taken advantage of the peace to become weak. Yeah. The Germans are now rearming. What could go wrong? But I'm not joking. The Germans are rearming. They're like, you know what? All we need is to have a little bit of military, just so we can have a little bit of, living space, a living room, a bit of space to grow. That's all we need. No bet. What could go wrong? Yes. 100%. All righty. Let's see here. Francis, I'm glad I live in a small city, but out of men and women nationwide, there are less than 100 of us who do my niche for cybersecurity. So I'm comfy. Nice. Nice. Very good. Yeah. But again, whatever you do, if you are a talented woman, if you come to New York City or other large cities, you will find a lot of people who are talented here. So it's a big change, and it makes a lot of women unhappy because they're accustomed to being, talented, whatever, where there aren't as many of them who are talented because just the sheer numbers aren't there. So all of a sudden now you're in a mecca where, oh my God, I'm now surrounded by talented women. It becomes challenging. So yes. Okay. Got that here. Covering more of these. And Beauty's pissed. Don Lemon's going to jail. Okay. All right, God. Okay. I'm sorry. Maybe he's going to jail. Fine. I got to check this out. I gotta look this thing up here. All right. I got to look this thing up here. All right. All right. You guys are making me look this up now. If I'm right and they just go, whatever, then why do we bother? I don't know. So we'll see. So, Beauty says it's the greatest document ever written. I'm not sure I'll go there, but it is the best government ever set up. I think that's true. And it has problems. It isn't perfect at all. It has issues. It got us here. But I think we have lost our way. That's what I would say. We have lost our way. One of our biggest issues is our judges have abandoned us. So yes. The Greeks warned us that eventually democracy will fail if we don't stay on it. Thomas Jefferson warned us democracy would fail if we don't stay on it. And we ignored them. So that's the issue. We totally ignored them. So, all right. Adironic says, I'm not seeing any real support for Blakeman. True. No one seems to decide to make him governor. True. Absolutely true. Yes. Absolutely true. He is backed because he's a Republican. He even says it. He only raised about $250,000. The rest he just transferred from his old stuff into his. He had like $4 million in his other campaigns. He did a bait and switch. He was like, I'm just running for Long Island. Oh, you guys gave me millions of dollars? Just kidding. I'm running for governor. And he took that money. Remember, once they have the money, people People don't know this, and they get mad at me all the time. Larry, you got to get money back. No, he doesn't. You gave him the money, he gets to keep it. Now, it doesn't mean he gets to spend it whenever he wants. He can't buy himself a house, right? He can't do that. But he can take it and put it wherever he wants. So he takes that money that he got for running for his local office or local offices and goes, I'll put that money in my governor account. So he put $4 million in his governor account. Just put it in because whatever. Even though when he told you to give him the money, he wasn't running for governor. But, oh well. Now it's there. Thank you, suckers. That's him. He only raised $200,000. I raised over 100. So he's the Republican nominee, supposedly, and he only raised twice what I raised. That's not good. So you are correct. That is not good. You are absolutely correct. So, let's see here. Adirondack says, I like shotguns, but that 1,200 rounds a minute 3D printed ghost gun pistol Kathy Hochul talks about does sound devastating. True. When we get that 1,200 rounds an hour 3D print ghosted gun pistol, that Kathy Hochul, that's a better one. Let's do that instead. Let's get Kathy Hochul to give us the guns. Then we're good. So yes, then we're good. D-Nice says, Larry's a badass. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Yes. Yes, in line for VP. Look, if Massie wants to run for president and wants me to be his VP, I know him. I met him. I think we have a good relationship, but we're not like buddies. We're not like buddies or friends. We're not. We're acquaintances. Like I know him. He knows me. That's all. But if he all of a sudden goes, Larry, want to be VP? Yes. Yes and yes. Absolutely yes. Yes. Mike has bad news says Republican states have recently really chickened out in gerrymandering while Democrats went full in. Republicans are not serious people. You're actually right on this one because Republicans actually didn't want to do the gerrymandering thing. Trump did. So Trump pushed one or two of them and they begrudgingly went on it. But the judges are like, this is bad, right? This is terrible. Democrats always want to do this. Trump gave them an excuse and it worked. The Democrats were like, oh, good. Gerrymander. We've been trying to do this for years. Thanks, Trump. So they were happy to do that. 100%. They were absolutely happy to do it. That's true. Republicans should have realized how aggressively Democrats. I actually told you this when this first happened. I said, this is going to backfire. If you remember, I said it. I knew Democrats would jump all on board. I know they're in my state. I get them. And they jumped on totally. Virginia is trying to do a 10-1 in Virginia. Oh, it's North Carolina. Maybe one of those two states. Trying to do a 10-1. 10 Democrats, 1 Republican. Yes. Insane. Insane they're trying to. Yes. So, all right. Mastermind says, is it 5,000 degrees? Is that true? Yes. Brona says, using white phosphorus is a crime against humanity, even in war. Oh, but you can against equipment, not against people. But yes. There we go. Equipment, not against people. So, Mike says, I think Massie would have a better chance in the general election than he would in Republican primary. 100% true. Massie is much more, there are more independents and Democrats will be much more open to voting for Massie. That's true than hardcore Republicans in Kentucky. You're right. But how do you get past it? You probably can't. You probably can't. So I agree with you. So yeah. D says, I would go to Sicily where my great-great-grandparents were from. Oh, that's nice. There we go. John says, Lemon organized it and provided coffee and donuts. Is that true? Okay, that's bad. Okay, I may be off on this one, guys. That sounds horrible. If he just showed up, I could see him easily getting out of it, right? If he just showed up, I could, even if he knew it was happening, they were like, hey, try this thing. Or maybe if he leaked it to the group, like, hey, you know this guy, he's a bad ice guy, whatever, if he did that even, right? But he just showed up, I could see him getting out of it. If that's true, maybe I'm wrong on this, maybe I'm wrong on some judge. Hold on, now I'm gonna look it up. Did he go, okay, hold on. Now you see, you Don Lemon. I think make me do the show on Don Lemon now. All right. Making me do the show on Don Lemon. All right. Top story. Now I was right. Okay. Minnesota magistrate judge rejects charges against Don Lemon of anti-ICE protest, blocks Some charges for 2 protests. Okay, so the judge said he's a journalist, right? Hold on. Refuses on a complaint, charging independent. They call him independent journalist, of course, but he's only independent journalist because he was in CNN. If that was me, Mike, if that was you, your ass is in jail. You know your ass is in jail. Me, I'm in jail. This is Don Lemon, though. He's just going to go CNN. And the judge goes, okay, CNN. Yep. All right. Pam Bondi tried to get him going aboard, blah, blah. The magistrate said, okay, no, wasn't going to do that. First been protected his weekend. Oh, yeah. According to Donnie, you're wrong, Beauty, because it's his First Amendment right. He's protected. See that? Yeah, that's his first, not yours. That's his First Amendment. Okay. And then how are they going to blame Trump? I'm sure they're going to blame Trump for this. I'm sure this is Trump's fault. Somehow did Trump force it? Okay. Bondi's pushing it, so that's Trump's fault. Clearly, this is Trump versus Don. All right. All I'm going to say is I just see this is CBS News, so who knows? This says that they put other people in jail, not him. And this does not mention, I'm not saying you guys are wrong. This article does not mention him setting anything up or knowing it. This article just says it's about everybody else, not him, and that he was just there. Now, if this is what people see and not what you're telling me, he won. If people see what you're telling me, he might not. But what I'm seeing here as I go down, then I'm talking about him anymore. Okay, literally, here we go. This is what I say for him. This is CBS News, mainstream news. Voters listen to this and watch this. Lemon, first thing, a former CNN anchor. Literally, the first thing when I describe him, Lemon, a former CNN anchor, attended the protest, which interrupted the Sunday services, prompting Congress and FMs to leave. In an interview with the protest, Lemon said, there's a Constitution and a First Amendment and freedom of speech and freedom of assembly to protest. Yeah. Done. All right. But okay. They are saying that some people are unhappy with him. That's true. And of course, we have Trump. Trump flooded the streets with federal agents. It's Trump's fault. Clearly, this is all Trump's fault. Obviously, Trump did it. Trump forced him. All right, I'm looking at this now, and it looks like this is mainstream news. So mainstream news is not covering this the way you guys are saying it. Again, not saying you're wrong. I'm saying mainstream news is not covering it the way you guys are telling me. I just saw that. Washington Post is the same thing. AP News, same thing. Yeah, mainstream news. Yeah. Mainstream news is not covering this that way at all. They're just saying not charged. They're all saying former. Look, against the former CNN anchor. They're all calling him a CNN anchor. They're all calling him a former CNN anchor. Yeah. The nature of it protected his work. His answer is that the First Amendment protected him. That's what he's saying. So anyway, I'm sorry, but you guys may do it. So I did my little bit of homework. There's probably more I could do. Here's what I'm going to tell you. Mainstream media is not saying what you're saying. I'm not saying you're wrong, John. I'm saying mainstream media is not saying what you're saying. And if people see that, yeah. All right. Space Jason says Don Lemon, I like that, is not a journalist. He's an activist clown. True. He 100% should face consequences. The pastor asked him to leave multiple. Oh, was that true? See, none of that was said. And I just glanced. I went through 4 articles just now, mainstream. None of them said that. They're ignoring this. Space. I'm not saying you're wrong, guys. I'm not saying this. What I'm saying is they're ignoring this. I just scanned 4 mainstream articles. Nothing about the pastor to leave. Nothing about him setting this up. Just he is the former CNN anchor, which is why he's getting off. He's one of them. He's one of them. You guys think, I mean, I know that sounds horrible, but I think you know I'm right. He's one of them. Or at least was. So maybe he still has some kind of, so maybe. All right, let me go walk down some of this if I can. No, that would be Biden going to jail. Yeah. Yes. 100%. Dog says gangsta lemon. That's actually funny. Yes, absolutely. Mike goes, I'm all in on Biden or whoever was really in charge 18 hours. True. Yeah, him. You can't put the pen in jail. So whoever was holding the pen. Yes. Matt Mike says, thank you, Larry. I don't even like Don Lemon a little, but he's not. He's not. That's my whole point. He's not. And he's one of them. So I don't know. Maybe. Missy says, please check out Civil. Yes, you should, because I've been talking a lot about Thomas Massie. I have. But if you want to see some stuff about Thomas Massie, there's a place you can go. You knew it was Civil. Of course it is. He has so many different things on Civil. If you want to know who Thomas Massie is, how he thinks, what he's doing, head over to Civil, CIVL.com. Code is Larry10 for 10% off. This is the most recent one talking about the EpiPen files. This is the most recent
Welcome
one.
to Kibbe on Liberty, another mega episode with Thomas Massie. In part 2, we're doing an update on the Epstein files, which by law will be released December 19th. And
will they though? But yes, that's one. But if you check out other things that he has here, this is all Thomas Massie stuff. Here, Thomas Massie, Thomas Massie, Thomas Massie, Thomas Massie, Thomas Massie. Look at all Thomas Massie stuff. When he was babyface. He was babyface back here. This is babyface Thomas Massie. There's tons of it. Nothing but Thomas Massie everywhere. Tons of things. If you want to see who he is, what he's doing, this is a great place to go. Civil.com, CIVL.com. Code is Larry10 for 10% off. They are a sponsor of the show. If you want to help out, please go ahead and sign up. Go check them out. And if you care about Thomas Massie at all, great place to see a bunch of his interviews, to see what he's doing. CIVL.com. This is Civil.com. Upgrading civilization without the conflict machine. Thank you for that, Missy. I appreciate it. Absolutely, I do appreciate it. So yes, please make sure whatever you do, click the like button. But yes. All righty. Shelly says, Larry must be tired. He fell with a parking brake. No, it's just a joke, I thought, right? Yes. Okay. Let's see here. Mike says, DOJ is acting and 3 leading the event have been arrested. Lemon, so far as not, is federal, so state is not involved. Give it a day or so. I say Lemon's arrested. Let's make a bet, Mike. Not arrested. Not arrested. No. Not arrested. I think he's one of them. I think he just goes CNN. I think gets him a pass. CNN is basically an arm of the government. So I think we'll see. We'll talk. Well, I'll bring you over to talk about it. I think he gets off. I think he's one of them. I think he was trolling, and it was a great troll for him. Doc says it, grasping for relevance and working, because we're talking about him. And I just looked, when I looked it up, there was like 7 articles on him working. He's doing interviews now. This was well done for him. Well done for him. He's semi kind of important a bit. So yes. So Shreya says, I ride my bicycle on public roads that don't have minimum speed. I walk on public roads also. Yes. Yeah, absolutely. So, all right. Let me walk down some of these roads if I can. All right. Let's see here. Okay, so I gotta check this out. Nate, hold on. Where am I? Hold on. Pop that one. There we go. All right. So as I look here, Mike says the Nate the lawyer video on it goes. Okay, so you know what? I will check that one out. Because Nate's pretty popular. So I guess I'm gonna check out. Okay, so I will check that one out. I'll see if that's it. Okay, I will. So, all righty. Dominic says, thank you, Larry. I'm spending when you run. Thank you. Adirondack says, I agree with James O'Keefe that everyone can be a journalist, but ICE obstructors claiming they are press now shouldn't fly. Agreed. And if he actually set this up, I'm with you. My assumption was that he just showed up, in which case he could be a journalist. But again, I think Don Lemon is one of them. I think they will see him as that. I think if it was me or you, Mike, we in jail. I think it was him. I think no. So Massman says Don Lemon's an idiot, but fortunately for his ilk, stupidity isn't a crime. True. Sometimes the actions of stupidity make it that way, but yes. Barnes says, I absolutely agree with you, Larry. Trump's ICE is just Obama's ICE on steroids. If not for Obama and his cheerleaders, there would not be a Trump ICE of today. True. Agreed. Yes. And people think that Obama wasn't that way. He was. Absolutely true. Yes. Absolutely. So Mike says, yeah, Obama did build the cages. Correct. Yep. Absolutely. Yeah, really? Mostly peaceful. I'm trolling you, Mike, on that one. I'm trolling you. Yes. I'm trolling you on that. Yes. Massman says, the ICE goon that shot Renee Good 3 times was previously injured illegally reaching into another car. He still doesn't learn his lesson. This is untrainable. If he was a dog, Christina would. I saw something recently. I forgot who said this. I don't know if it's true or not. Maybe someone could check this for me. That they did an autopsy, or maybe the crime scene of the case may be, and they found that that it was the third round that killed her. If that's true, I don't know. I heard that, so who knows how real that is. If that's true, that dude's in trouble. He's gonna need a pardon. He's gonna need a pardon from Biden. If that is true. Again, don't know if that's true. I heard that somebody when I was doing a task and I had something in my ear, and some podcast I was listening to said that. So again, I don't know if that's true, but if that's true, in trouble. If that is true, he's in trouble. He will be arrested if that's true. You will find the Minnesota will arrest. He will require a pardon. He will absolutely be arrested if that's true. So yes. Let's see here. I would vote for Massie over Gavi. Yes, I know. Gavin Newsom's terrible. Shelley says, Lemon repeatedly said, we. Oh, is that right? Yep. Brought up the cages. Thanks, Obama. True. Yes. LM says, the Amish are involved in accidents weekly in my area. We have twisty and hilly 2-lane roads, and the buggies don't have lights. Their vehicle isn't compliant with laws like cars. Now, hold on. Be very clear. They should be. Do they have a right to be in the road? Yes. Doesn't mean they have a right to have special rules. If I got to have reflectors or lights on my car, you got to have on your buggy. So they shouldn't have special rules. They're not special. They're just like us, right? They just want to use buggies. Okay, use a buggy. Or to Straya's point, use a bicycle or walk. It's fine. But if you have to have rules, you can have rules for it to make people safe. I don't mind that at all. So yeah, 100%. Yeah. So Massman says YouTube censorship is disgusting. Yes. Absolutely. So, all righty. Massman now says it stands on the shoulders of Magna Carta. True. 1215. Did I get that right? Mastermind, Magna Carta 1215. King John, right? I hope I got that right. King John 1215. I think that's right. Fran says, then a woman on woman hate. I say this as a woman. I've seen it in action. That too. Andrew says, I'm with you, Larry. I don't think anything will happen to Lemon, and it's virtuous thing by both sides. Yeah, I do. I think nothing happens to him. Look, if I'm wrong, I'll eat crow. Michael, tell me. I'll eat crow. I think nothing happens to him. I think he gets away with it. I think he does. John says, Lemon needs to go to prison because he was the test subject. If he gets with this, other journalists will do much worse moving forward. All right, that's the best argument I've heard, John. That's the best argument I've heard. So you're saying if he gets away with it, there'll be a bunch of other people trolling it, and then they'll start trashing churches and stuff like that too. All right, maybe. That's the best argument I heard. Otherwise, I'm like, he's trolling, why do I care? Okay, maybe. You got that one, you got me thinking, John. Okay, you got me thinking. So, all right. You got me thinking. Okay. Mastermind says, how the hell are you going to carry 12 rounds? I don't know, but that's what it's, and the funny thing is in 1 minute, they're all gone. Kathy Hochul said they fired 12,000 rounds in a minute. That's what she told us. So that means 1,200 rounds. So 1,200 rounds are gone in a minute. So after the first minute of war, you're done. So it's not 1,200 rounds. That's per minute. You got to basically have a truck full of rounds connected directly to your ghost gun printed pistol. Then, there we go. So, Space Station says, do you think the Dems' latest defund the ICE campaign will come back to bite them in the ass like it did with 2020? I think it will. Maybe. The problem is defund ICE. They don't actually mean it, by the way. They fund ICE. I mean, they don't mean it. They're saying it because it feels good and it makes people get excited. It's a good way of raising money, right? Again, I get the emails. If you guys are on Democratic people's emails list for money, you get them too, right? This is how we can stop Trump and defund the ICE thugs, right? I get that every other day. Not probably every other day. I get at least one of those. So yeah, so it's great for raising money, but they vote to fund ICE. So I don't know. The issue is, look, as Space Station, as long as they can keep yelling other guy bad, defund the police hasn't burned them. They still use that to Mom Donnie's mayor of New York. Just remember something. Here's what you got to remember. Orange man is bad. It doesn't matter what I say. It doesn't matter what I do. Orange man is bad. So I know I said these things. I know I did these things. I know I've done bad things. I know I've done nothing to help you. I know I've lied to you, but orange man's bad. So that goes away. And sadly, for too many Americans, yeah, that goes away. Yeah. I wish it didn't. It does. So yes. Andrea says, would like to know where those 1,200 rounds would go while in use, maybe up the back end. Just yes. Yes. That's good. Shelly goes, Lemon was all in. Look, maybe I'm wrong on this one, but I don't think so. I don't think so. So, Master Now says, one guy in a plow truck took out 10 Japanese machine gun pillboxes with the phosphorus grenades and a K-bar, you mean? Yeah. Oh, a Browning automatic rifle. Got it, yeah. Well, the Browning automatic rifle was it was, the problem with that is it was the magazine, right? That rifle, the magazine was the problem. You couldn't get enough rounds. You had to constantly put rounds in it. It was the equivalent of that 1,200 round. You'd empty the Browning in literally a minute. You'd empty it. It's gone. So you're constantly having to redo that. You kind of have to have an A gunner, which is a problem. So, but yes. Beauty goes, the Lemon thing's about precedent. Okay, I think we'll see. So, I have a feeling she's gonna go. So, all right. Oh, was in Paleolu. Oh, yes. Okay, makes sense. Was he with the Navy? So, Mike Voss says CBS is doing a ton of edits and heavy lifting for Lemon. Yes. And the radical they support. CBS admits they're biased 1 month ago. Radical left CBS? Not sure I'd go there. They are much more establishment shills than anything else than radical left. They're much more establishment shills than radical left. Shelley says, Larry, we're libertarians. We don't watch him. I said, I know. That's why you guys give me stuff that the mainstream news didn't give me. You're right. You guys are giving me so much more than I got. So yes, you're absolutely true. So yes. But the problem is, you know who does watch the mainstream media? The average voter. The average voter. So yes. Andrea says, the problem is he's already won in a court of public opinion. Andrea gets it. Andrea gets it. Yes. All right. Shelly says to go to Nate. Okay. I'm going to go right after this. I'm going to go to Nate the lawyer, and I'll see. I will. Yes. All right. Brona says, Larry, you and Mike would be in jail because you're black. Whoever heard of a black lemon? Okay, that might have been a bad joke. That was a bad joke. Yes. No, we'd go into jail because we don't have CNN on our resume. That's why. Mike's been doing this for longer than I have, but he doesn't have CNN on his resume, which makes him a bad guy by default. Sorry, Mike. So Don Lemon has CNN on his resume, so he by default is okay. That's how that works. So there we go. All right. He says everyone's baby face when they first go into Congress. True. Yes, absolutely true. Let's see here. Super weapons. Larry, prediction for 2028 on the Republican side. I'm calling Newsom / AOC for the Dems. All right. You asked for prediction. I'll try to give you. I because you asked, I'll give you one, but I'm actually not sure on this. I'm not sure on this. Mike's much sure. He really thinks it's going to be Vance Rubio. He said it. He if it's actually Vance Rubio as being president, he said that right away. He said it early. My gut says, can I hedge? Because it's early for me, but I'm gonna hedge a little. Hedge a little. If Trump fails this year, and that's the huge if's doing a lot of lifting in this sentence. I'm aware if's doing a lot of lifting. If Trump fails this year badly to where he gets his butt kicked in November, if that does happen, I think there will be a Republican who is not mainstream now who will come up and be able to take it. Going on the let's go back to the old ways type, like Trump is the past, that kind of thing. I don't know what that is, but something like that. It'll probably be someone like a I don't know. It'll be someone like a mainstream Republican who kind of leans a little bit left, something like that. It'll be that type of pendulum swing if Trump fails horribly in November. If Trump doesn't fail horribly and he does well, I think it's more like what Mike says. I think it's more like a Rubio or a Vance or something like that. Yeah, that's what I think. So I don't know. I'm just not ready for it yet. I think just 2 years is forever for me. It's forever. So yes. D says, so what I'm hearing is Tuesday's Sharpe Way podcast with all things down. Maybe I will. I mean, it's you guys obviously care, and I want to do what you guys care about. So maybe I will. Maybe I'll do it. So yes. No. All righty. 20 Kevron says, make Sharpe the VP with Massie is a real ticket. I agree. Yes, absolutely. So John says forensics is very good. How did he even tell which was the third bullet shot? Again, don't know. I heard this, so I'm not sure that's true. I'm telling you, I heard it. I don't know if that's right, but I'm pretty sure they could tell theoretically because where the bullet came from, right? It hit them where she was sitting compared to where he was. So it could be found out. There is no doubt they could tell. I'm not saying what I said is true, but there is no doubt they could tell. That is a thing they could tell. So yes. Mastermind says, I think 12:15 is right. Yep. There we go. Absolutely. And he's talking about it will open a floodgate for nuisance streamers. Yeah, I'm hearing you. No. I think John and Beauty, yes. They're it's making me, I'm thinking. Yes. I'm thinking. That made me rethink it. That was a very good argument, and I get it. Look, I can be, I can be convinced. You guys see me do it over here on the show. I can be convinced. So yes, I can be it. Yes. So, all righty. Larry just watched a documentary on Marine Arthur Jackson, who took out 54 Japanese in about an hour. Amazing story. All right, now I got to watch that too. You guys make me do all this work. I still got to check out all the other people. All right, I got to keep going. I got more stuff I got to do. So, yes. Mike says, Crenshaw makes a comeback. No way. Crenshaw's done. Youngkin, maybe. There we go, John. Okay. Maybe a Youngkin type. Maybe not him, but a Youngkin type. He's won in Democratic states. He's got some charisma, decent charisma. Someone like him. There we go. Yes. Someone like him I could see in that area. Yes, I could see that. So, all righty. Matt says, Larry, do you know what the ideal ketone range is for knowing if you're close to ketosis or not? Generally speaking, you want to be under 20 grams of carbs per day. That's a good general rule. You keep that, you should be okay, right? You should also know, because you should have less brain fog. You should have more energy. You should sleep better. That should help you out. After your initial withdrawal symptoms, once you go into ketosis, you're going to have what many people will have, what's called the keto flu. It's not a flu, but it's called the keto flu. It's basically it's basically withdrawal symptoms from not having so many carbs. So yes. So Shelly says 2 shots in the chest and 1 travel through the arm to the head. I suspect that was a 3rd shot. Yeah, they could figure this out. Yes. Absolutely, they could figure this out. Yes. So Matt says, I've been ketoing my mom since. Oh, congrats. So she should be past the keto flu if she's doing well. A good way of helping her out, if you can, is to have her do some intermittent fasting also. You will see a lot of weight come off her, a lot of weight. So yes. Brona says, yes, CNN in the resume is the point. Yes, that is exactly the point. I agree. That's the point. Mike doesn't have that. Sorry, Mike. He doesn't have that. So yeah, not going to work. So Liberty says, Shamrocker, how are you? I can see John Kasich. He could try. I'm not sure he has the charisma for it, but yes, his type also. Yeah, that type of Republican. Again, if he's doing a lot of lifting here, if Trump fails horribly in November, then I could see someone like that happening. I could. Absolutely. Yeah. All right. I think she's passed through her ketones in the middle of the darkness meter on the strips. Yeah. You want to be in a dark purple. That shows you're pretty much deep. And how you know this is that what the strip measures is actually discarded ketones. So your brain is taking the ketones in as energy, your body's taking ketones as energy. The reason why it gets dark is you have so many extra ketones. The darker, the better. So you actually can be in ketosis even if you have a little bit less than dark. But dark is the best. Dark is the best. 100%. It means you have a lot of extra ketones. You have extra ketosis. You should be shedding. She should be shedding fat now. She should be shedding fat. Depending upon how much extra weight she has, she should easily be dropping 2 to 3 pounds a week. Easily should be. If she's that dark purple, easily. Hopefully she's also active. You want her to be active. Again, relative to her activity. Whatever her normal activity is, more of that. Whatever her normal activity is, just more of that. Just more active to be fine. Generally speaking, you do want her to do, and at this point, you don't want her doing high intensity, generally speaking, unless she's been very active in the past. You want her doing more light things like walking, maybe treadmilling, riding a bike, that kind of thing, until she gets in whatever shape she's good with. At that point, you can move her into more high intensity. General rule. So yes, I hope that was clear. Matt goes, oh yeah, she's a walker on a stationary bike. Yes, perfect. Absolutely. Yes, 100%. So Nooner, he's here. Larry Matz, the stand-up guy, no doubt. The problem lies when ideology becomes dogma. In politics, you have to be pragmatic in order to get stuff. Even you grasp that. I do, but I still do have my dogma in the back of my head. But yes, I think we have to. So there we go. So guys, I'm going to ask you if I could please click the button known as like, if you would. Click that like button if you can. If you have not shared this repost, please do so. If you haven't subscribed to this channel or click the button, click that bell that says, get all your notifications. Please do that if you can. I appreciate it. And of course, if you will be in New York next Saturday, not this Saturday, next Saturday, the 31st, you can come see me. I will be in New York. I'll be in Mahoney's Irish Pub and Steakhouse in Poughkeepsie, New York at 2 p.m. and the Alexis Diner at 6:30 p.m. in Troy, New York. If you want to come see me, not this Saturday, but next Saturday, January 31st. Hope I can see you guys there. If you want to show up, that would be amazing. Remember, after this is over, please comment. I'm going to ask you, just tell me what you think of Thomas Massie. Oh, you know what? Scratch it. Tell me what you think about Don Lemon. That was more popular than Thomas Massie today. So I guess I should have done a Don Lemon show. It's fine. It's why it's called AMA. I said I'd take them all. I took it. So it's all good. And talking about guns and weapons too. We did that down. We walked down all the roads. I take any questions. And it was 12:15. So thank you for that. Yes. And again, please, if you would, if you're watching this and it's not live, you'll see 2 videos pop up. Please check out one of them right away. The Rhythm loves that. Algo Rhythm. I will see you all